Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Welcome once again at our
Thank
institute.
you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so we shall be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes.
All right.
Dr. Smita Shukla, the director of our institute, she has also joined us. And I can see Chandanani sir, the faculty, visiting faculty of our institute is also there. So we will be starting in next 2 to 3 minutes, Jigar. I hope it is fine with you.
Absolutely fine. I'm looking forward. Hello,
Okay,
Smita,
thank
man.
you.
How are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely fine.
Great to connect with you again.
Likewise, ma'am. Likewise.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Same here. Yeah.
Okay, so before we start the session, my request to all the attendees and participants to kindly mute your audio and video. We shall be requesting you to on your video after the session so that we shall have a group photographs. And in the meantime, on behalf of my institute, that is Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial and Management Studies, it is my pride and privilege to all of you in our international webinar where our beloved alumni, Mr. Jigar Rajani, is here to give you some very fruitful tips for managing final placements and managing your brand in the hyper competition. So give us 2 more minutes. We are going to start the session very soon. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, this is Kunal Pradhan. I hope everybody is safe and healthy in this period. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'm from the placement committee of Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial and Management Studies. We have here our chairperson, the director of our institute, Dr. Smita Shukla ma'am. So I would like Smita Shukla ma'am to talk about the webinar, please.
Thank you, Kunal. Today, the placement cell of our institute, Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial and Management Studies, is organizing a talk with our very beloved alumni, Jigar Rajani, on the topic, Brand Yourself, Stand Out in Day and Age of Hyper Competition. In my view, there could not have been a better candidate than Jigar to speak on this topic. My interaction with Jigar while he was on campus was relatively limited. Jigar will also recall the same. When I joined, this batch was almost in its last semester and was on the verge of giving the last semester examination. I think that was year 2009, right, Jigar? So I joined in January, and their batch moved out and moved into competition by the time it was June 2009. But what I know about Jigar is that he was very focused, because I've heard a lot of stories about you, Jigar. Whatever interaction I had with you, limited though it was, I always heard positive things about you. And what I heard about him was that he was extremely focused. He knew that where he wanted to reach. He knew that he wanted to enter into automobile field, specifically the kind of companies he opted for. He was very focused that he wanted to go into those companies only. Say, for example, while he was doing summer internship, he chose Volkswagen. And then later on, again, entered into the same company as final placement opportunity when it came up. And he was so focused that he said, okay, this is my domain and this is where I want to be. He continued in that field, and I think in his now almost 11-year working experience, right? He has worked with companies which are all global automobile giants. So Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan. He has worked for them in India, Oman, Dubai, now in Canada. So as I stated, there couldn't have been a better person to speak on how do you brand yourself. He knew what he wanted to do. He carved out a path for himself. He ensured that he sticks on to his goal, and he has proven to us all that you can be success in case you are very dedicated and focused. So, Jigar, a very warm welcome to you. On campus, I can't say, but yes, this webinar, which has been organized by Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial and Management Studies, I look forward to your session.
Thank you so much for your kind words, ma'am. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. And I would like to, like our MMS coordinator, Dr. Aruna Deshpande, to talk about the webinar, please.
Kunal, there is some technical error, so I can't see Deshpande madam on the webinar. I mean, on the list of people. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So, without much further ado, we will turn the time over to our presenter today, who's a marketing genius and an automotive professional.
Yeah, before that, Kunal, I will also say something about Jigar with your permission, because it is important for us to understand that why are we organizing this today's webinar. So when Jigar has given the topic about hyper competition, I read a book. I read a book of Mr. Richard Devaney. He's a professor of business strategy at Dartmouth College, and who is talking about 1 minute. Who is talking about managing the dynamics of strategic maneuvering. And so he argues that competitive advantage is no longer sustainable over the long period. He further said that today, in these uncertain times, the four driving forces which contribute to the new era of hyper competition are rapid technological changes, falling geography and industry boundaries, expectation of customer changes frequently, and global alliances. Similarly, to brand yourself or win yourself in hyper competition in terms of individual positioning, especially of B school graduates for placements, is possible only if an individual is willing to take more risk and go an extra mile in strategically. So Mr. Jigar Rajani is an apt professional to speak on this topic with his vast years of experience in the global market. We all know and fear in today's current scenario, and there are lots of uncertainties in terms of final placements. As the only thing which can bring good result is well preparation. So today I'm sure after getting the inputs from Mr. Jigar Rajani, we all will be able to brand ourselves in the disrupted markets. Apart from being a very passionate and hardcore professional, Mr. Jigar is an alumnus of Admis Institute from the MMS batch of 2009. He was a very active and dedicated placecomer too, and my first batch after joining the department. So it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome Jigar, and I really look forward to your session, Jigar. Thank you very much, Kunal. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to tell something about Jigar, sir. So he's a marketing genius and an automotive professional who's passionate about products and curious about customer behavior. He's an Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute alumnus with 10 years of international experiences ranging from India, Oman, Dubai, and now Canada. He started his career with Volkswagen India as a summer intern and went on to work with the brand full-time in India. Post that, he worked with Toyota in Oman, Nissan in Dubai, and his last assignment was with Volkswagen India, East in Dubai, as a product manager. He recently moved to Canada with his family. It is my pleasure to welcome back Mr. Jigar Rajan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kunal. Thank you so much for your kind words. Can we have the presentation slides up?
Yeah.
No, just give me a sec. I'll just present the slides as well. Just a sec.
Yeah, no problem.
So are they visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, visible. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Rahul, for the wonderful introduction. It's an absolute pleasure being a part of this webinar. It's really interesting for me to contribute back to my college via this webinar after almost 10 years of me passing out. My objective here is to share my experience, which I learned from the time I was sitting in your position in my MBA school with dreams and aspirations in my eyes. I also feel I would have loved listening to real life corporate experiences when I was a student, but didn't get enough of it. So I hope you find the session really interesting and at the end have some actionable points to take back. Also, before starting, let me tell you my presentation has series of stories. Now, because I feel stories are much more effective than talking about concepts. And I think it's very important how we utilize or how we apply these concepts in the real life world to make a difference. Okay, let's start the presentation. The topic which I have selected is brand yourself to stand out in the day and age of hyper competition. I believe this is a very important topic, and the actions which you take in your life leads to a lasting impression. And personally, I have taken few steps in my life. It was not planned. I did it and it worked for me. So I think it's my responsibility to give back to my college to tell you what best practices that I applied and which has really worked for me. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. So I've divided the presentation into 4 sections: networking, LinkedIn, resume, and there's a special bonus section at the end, which is very close to my heart, which I'll talk about when we reach at that section. Let's move to the next slide. Let's talk about networking first. Next one, please. So I'd like to talk about informative interviews. Now, what are informative interviews? I think this term or this method is very underplayed. So informative interview is basically when a job seeker speaks to a person in an organization who the organization which he's targeting to, or the function which he's targeting to, or the industry which he's targeting to. I'll tell you a very interesting story. So when I landed in Canada, March, 4 months back, things were not very good because of the COVID situation. Job markets were really bad. So I had a thought that, do I need to continue with automotive industry or should I diversify myself? And technology is something which I was really interested in. However, having an interest and actually working in a technology company are 2 different things. So I wanted to understand, how does the technology company work? So I happened to speak to a gentleman who is a part of my LinkedIn profile, a LinkedIn network. He works with Microsoft. And I understood that Volkswagen and Microsoft had a collaboration about cloud computing. Now, cloud computing is a very big term. I had absolutely no information about it. I happened to have 1 hour appointment with this gentleman, and we spoke a lot of things about how a technology company works, how a technology company is collaborating with an automotive company, and how an automotive person entering a technology company can add value to the entire ecosystem. When I spoke to him, I actually got the benefits which I got was the first-hand relevant information about realities of working within a particular field, industry, or a position. He even spoke about various career paths within a technology company, which kind of was really fascinating to me. I would have never come to know about this thing if I would have not spoken to him, because being an outsider, you always have very limited information. How does an organization functions? I learned about a culture of this specific organization. Let me give you an example. When I was working with Volkswagen Middle East in Dubai, the culture was so diverse. There were 100 employees and we represented 34 nationalities. Now, if I'm an outsider, I would never know about this particular culture in an organization. And I, as a person who's aspiring to be going to various companies internationally, having a diverse culture is something which I really look up to. So having these informative interviews are really helpful to get you an insider information. How does the organization work? Also, it is a revalidation whether your skills and your likelihood about this particular industry, would you like it? Would you be wanting to work moving forward? And most importantly, it gives you a professional relationship with this gentleman, which would have been never possible. And the relationship will last because you taking an extra effort to understand his industry. Within my 10 years of career, I have never found anyone coming to me talking and telling me, Jigar, can you talk me about product planning? How does a Volkswagen work? So this is one of the steps how you can stand out in a competitive world, because that shows your intention to learn about an industry. Next slide, please. Find a higher purpose. Networking is never about an immediate result or immediate job offer. It is a long-term process, a very effective one, but a long-term process. And when you do this networking activity, it has to have a higher purpose. It is not temporary. You cannot have a myopic view towards it. I'll tell you a very interesting story. So when I was working with Volkswagen Middle East in 2017, I was working on this product, which is known as a Volkswagen Atlas. It was the first 7-seater car. So as a product manager, my job is to spec the car, plan the engine, what should be the pricing. So I was completely involved in the car. And the car was produced in America. So how it happens is in America, the car is launched, and after 1 year, it is launched in the Middle East. So while I was involved in speccing and planning the car actually was launched in America. And there was a beautiful marketing campaign which came across. And to be very frank, when I was watching the campaign, it really struck a chord with me, probably because I was too involved in the car, but the campaign was really good, very, very attractive, very, very thorough. And to the point, it reached the customer's heart, and that's what the campaign was about. I really liked it. So I happened to get in touch with the marketing director of Volkswagen USA. He was a part of my LinkedIn network, and I dropped a message to him that, hey, Mr. A, I really, really liked your Atlas campaign. I am a product manager, and I totally connect with the campaign, and you've done a great job, you and your team. And you won't believe, everyone likes appreciation. So he replied back saying that, thank you so much for replying. And I think I lost the slide. Can you get it back?
Yes, somebody else is presenting. My request to all participants is please do not click on present now.
I hope it is visible now.
It is a
Not
small
yet.
window.
Yeah, just a second. I'll just stop sharing and then again reshare it.
Okay.
Have to pin the screen. I mean, people just have to pin the screen to see.
My request to all participants is please do not click on present now. When you click that, the screen of presenter, that is Mr. Jigar, will go away. So this will disrupt the entire session.
How about now, Jigar sir?
Yes, it's just loading. Yeah, got it. All right, so let me continue on this topic. So I happened to drop a message to him quickly that, hey, Mr. A, I really liked your campaign. I think you and your team has put up a great show, and I think this is going to be a very, very successful campaign. So he replied back saying that, thank you so much for the appreciation, and getting an appreciation from the family, from the same Volkswagen family, was really, really motivating for him. And that's it. That was the end of our discussion. That was 2017. I landed in Canada in March 2020. And I happened to change that I moved to Toronto in LinkedIn. And we had a discussion when I moved in. And I was talking to him, and he moved from Volkswagen to Toyota America as a marketing director. So he was just asking, hey, what is happening in Canada? Why did you move? I said, I moved for family reasons. I needed a permanent residency. I'm looking out for opportunities because the market is really bad. To my surprise, he said, Jigar, do one thing, drop me your CV. I have a connection at Toyota Canada marketing head because I am Toyota US marketing. And he dropped a recommendation message to this lady saying that this guy, I've worked with this person, I've interacted with this person, and this person is really good. And I was completely taken aback. I did not ask him to do that. The point of the matter is that networking will work with you if you're really genuine. You cannot fake it. And I genuinely believed in his campaign. I really appreciated him. I spoke kind words, and I really said, I actually spoke about a lot of nuances which he really connected with me. And then after 3 years, he still remembers me, and he still remembers that this guy is a thorough professional, and let me recommend him to my counterpart in Toyota Canada. So what I'm trying to say is networking is not about finding a new gig. It's not about finding an immediate job. It is a byproduct of a healthy professional relationship. And trust me, it will create lasting impressions in people's mind. They will remember you. You have a life example in my case. 3 years down the line, he still remembers me. So look at networking as a long-term a professional relationship rather than an immediate beneficiary thing. Yeah. Next slide, please. This is my favorite slide. So take your chances. We as individuals or professionals who are starting our career or who are in the mid career level, we are scared that if we take our chances, if we do something or say something, how will that resonate with a senior professional? How will probably a CEO think about if I share my opinion? All right. Okay, let's continue. So this is a story. It's a personal story. When I moved to Oman in 2012, I then had my aspirations to move to Dubai because it's much more competitive in terms of a bigger automotive market, and that was planned. That I spent 2-3 years in Oman and then moved to Dubai. After 2.5 years, I started applying for jobs in Dubai. And it was 5 months, 6 months, and I was completely surprised. I was not getting any reward from any HR professional or any organization. And I was kind of frustrated because things were not moving. So what happened was one fine evening or one fine day, I had my meeting from Toyota in Dubai. It was a one-day affair. So in the morning, I had to fly to Dubai, and in the evening, I had to come back to Oman. And luckily, my Toyota meeting got over very soon, and I had around 3 hours to spare. And I kind of knew where other automotive companies were. So Volkswagen Middle East office was in the same vicinity. So I said, I have 3 hours. What do I do? Let me take my chances. Let me gate crash Volkswagen Middle East office. I mean, it sounds really, really strange. Gate crashing a regional office. I mean, why would someone even entertain you? I said, at least if there is 1% chance, I want to give it a shot. Listen to this. This story actually changed my life completely. So I happened to visit the Volkswagen Middle East office. So I was at the reception, and I had one gentleman who was a part of my LinkedIn connection, and he was the managing director of Volkswagen Middle East. I didn't know him. Okay, I absolutely did not know him. I just knew his name and his designation. So I was at the reception, and I spoke to the lady that, hi, I would like to meet Mr. A. She asked, okay, do you have an appointment with him? I said, I do not have an appointment, but I worked with Volkswagen India, and I am an ex-Volkswagen employee. I came from Oman. I work with Toyota. I just need 10 minutes of his time. I'm from the same family. I've worked with the group. So she said, okay, let me call him. So she called him. And to his surprise, he said, who the hell is this guy? He doesn't have an appointment. I don't even know him. But it was probably a fortunate day for me. He came out and he said, excuse me, do you have an appointment with me? I said, hello, Mr. A. I don't have an appointment. I am an ex-Volkswagen. I work with Toyota right now. I need 10 minutes of your time. I just request for 10 minutes and that's it. I'll be gone. And I was very lucky. He took me to his office, and you won't believe, we spoke for an hour. We spoke about automotive market as a whole. We spoke about how automotive market is moving forward, the Middle East automotive scenario, the Oman automotive scenario, how Volkswagen is doing globally. It was such an engaging discussion. And in the end, I said that I want to come back to the family. I want to join Volkswagen Middle East. And he said, I do not have anything right now. Go back to Oman, drop me your CV, and then we take it forward from there. I was absolutely pumped. I said, yeah, I cracked this. And I went to Oman, I dropped him a CV, and he replied, thank you, Jigar, for coming in, but sorry, I don't have anything. So again, I went back to my drawing board, the same thing. In that period, I happened to connect with someone in Nissan, and my job was confirmed in Nissan. I moved to Dubai. I was working in Nissan for a year, and I got a message one fine day on LinkedIn from this Mr. A, who was a managing director of Volkswagen Middle East, that, hey, Jigar, are you up for a challenge? There's a product role in my team. Do you want to join him? I said, hell yeah, I want to join him. I went there, I gave my interview, and it was 5 years I worked with this brand representing Volkswagen products in the Middle East. It was a very, very important role where I was a decision maker on the profitability of my car. And I just feel that this moment has changed a lot in my life in terms of how I perceive as taking chances, taking risks. Here, the situation was that the worst that could have happened with me is a no. And I was ready to take that plunge that if there was only 1%, if it was a yes, my life would be different. And I took my chances. So I would recommend everyone, please take your chances in life. And one more important thing that I understood is that is my last point on the slide, is that I non-verbally communicated to the person that I'm willing to go that extra mile. I'm willing to take that calculated risk to achieve my dreams and aspirations and my goal. And this is one of the most important qualities an achiever in an organization has. One person needs to go that extra mile, and that is represented by what you say, speak in your interview, verbally and non-verbally. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide, please. Internship and volunteering. I understood this when I moved out of India, that internship as a concept is seen in a different lens in the Western world and in India. I'll tell you why. While I was working with Volkswagen, I saw a lot of MBA graduates or graduates who does multiple internships, 2, 3, 4 for that matter, before they finally take the plunge and do their final full-time job. And this is very fascinating for me. I had a gentleman whom I recruited in my team as an intern. And this internship in my team, product team, was his third internship. And he asked me that, he told me, I asked him, why do you do a lot of internships? You do not want a full-time job? He said, I want a full-time job, but I want to do what I really like. And right after my MBA, I do not know a lot of information about how auto industry works. What are the various departments? So while doing internship, I get to understand the depth and how does that individual function works, and also how the allied function works. And this story is about this gentleman who joined my team, and his internship was for a year. He performed really well, and he got a lot of opportunities to understand different functions, because when you work as an intern, you have opportunities to collaborate with different functions, to join hands, work on common projects. So he did that. And you won't believe, to my surprise, to everyone's surprise, he connected with the sales department so much that there was an opportunity to present a sales dashboard, which product team was working on. But he worked really hard to prepare that, and he presented that to the entire company. After his internship was over, the sales department approached him saying that we are looking for an entry-level analyst, and you fit the role perfectly well. Would you like to join in? And he said, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And the point which I'm trying to make is, when I was sitting in your chair, after MBA, we rush to get the jobs which we really want. But we do not look at what functions are we getting into. Do we really like that function? And how would you answer, do you like that, without going into it? So I believe focus on internships. Even if you have to do 2 or 3 internships, it doesn't harm. At the end, when you're doing your full-time job, you are pretty clear in your mind, this is exactly what I wanted, because you've narrowed down that. And when you do that, the passion automatically comes in when you actually do full-time job. So I would recommend everyone focus on internships, because it is a platform to make mistakes, to learn, and to perform. Nobody will pinpoint that, oh, you did something wrong, but you would understand how other functions work, the intricacies which will only come to know when you actually work in the real life situation in that organization. Yeah. Let's move forward. Share interest. Again, this is an interesting slide. I read a very interesting article with Harvard Business Review, where they interviewed a lot of senior managers and entry-level executives and it was about networking. So the senior level manager said, I'm absolutely comfortable about networking. And the outcome was obviously he will be comfortable because he has a lot of wisdom, he has a lot of experience to share while he networks. But the junior level employee said, I'm kind of reluctant to be networking with senior managers because I don't know how can I contribute to that. Okay, so there's a very interesting story about this lady who started working when she was 25 years old. When she turned 30, she happened to drop 30 emails to 30 people who actually changed her life. The point which I'm trying to make is there are people at a middle level or a lower level who can contribute in terms of showing gratitude. Now, gratitude is something which is appreciated by all senior managers. Appreciation, as I mentioned earlier, is something which everyone appreciates. So as a person who is at an entry level or a mid-level, do not think that you cannot network with someone because you do not have enough know-how or enough experience. The lady, after sending 30 emails, now she still is connected with these 30 individuals because they felt really nice because all these guys have touched her life professionally to move her forward. And she, appreciating back, has created a lifelong bond between both these, both the lady and the person. Some are the CEOs, some are the vice presidents, but now they clearly know this lady. Again, this is one of the things which gratitude is one of the things that can help you stand out in the crowd. In my career, in my boss's career, whom I know 30 years, nobody's done this. So try doing things if you want to stand out from the crowd, something which is unique, something which is genuine, and something can make a difference. Something that can make a difference. And there are always means and ways. So you just need to think a little deeper. Next slide, please. Okay, LinkedIn. I believe LinkedIn is one of the best tools which has taken professional networking to a new high. Absolutely new high. I'll talk about a few do's and don'ts which I understand and which I've attended a few seminars from recruitment companies who talk about. Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about the do's. Now, the first do is make your presence felt on the platform by sharing thought-provoking articles. I've seen a lot of professionals now not going to individual websites like New York Times, Wall Street Journals, Harvard Business Review. They go to LinkedIn because they see a lot of these articles from these top websites from various industries. So I recommend everyone, if you come across a very thought-provoking article, share it on your feed, because that helps you form an identity on your LinkedIn profile. Like or share articles which you found worth reading, as I mentioned. This way you will appear more frequently on people's feed. And LinkedIn algorithm works in that manner that more active you are in your likes, share, commenting, more possibility of your profile being appeared when a recruiter searches for a sales manager or a product manager. This is an interesting one. The fourth point, create your own hashtag. Now, this is a personal story which I did. When I came to Canada, I was also suffering in terms of finding right opportunities. So I dropped an article on LinkedIn saying that, hello, everyone, it's a kind request. People are isolated physically. People should not be isolated emotionally. So please reach out to people who require help. And I mentioned that I'm open to helping people to enhance their LinkedIn profile, to check their resume, because 4I principle always works. And to my surprise, there were around 75 people who reached out to me saying, can you look at my CV? Can you look at my CV? And I had a hashtag there which says, we are in this together. From that day onwards, I've published multiple articles because I came across a lot of CVs on how to build a CV on Harvard Business Review, how to network. And I always mentioned this hashtag, we are in this together. And you won't believe there are a lot of people now on my LinkedIn network who's recognizing me with this particular hashtag. Now, why I did this? Because I was pretty genuine to help. I had a lot of time. And this way, you are branding yourself to someone who has emotional intelligence, someone who's willing to go an extra mile to help others. It's not always about your own self. And trust me, in this day and age, emotional intelligence is very, very important in an organization. Humility, helping others is a quality which not everyone has in an organization. So try to inculcate that. Try to have recommendation on your profile. When recruiters go on your profile, They love to see who is this person who's recommending, who has your back. Is he a vice president? Is he a CEO? What is he writing about? Try to have recommendation on your profile. That kind of will stand out as well. Try to make connections. That is very important. Reach out to people in your industry, in your allied industry. Multiply your connections, because the feed, on your feed, once multiple articles come in, it is more of a value addition for you to read those articles as well. Most importantly, I didn't know about this when I attended this webinar. It says on your profile, the last one I'm talking about, try to have a star profile status. So there are multiple status. There are beginner status, intermediate status. Have a star profile, because having a star profile maximizes your appearance by 12 times. So this is this recruitment agency who spoke to, who I spoke about, that if you have a star profile and if a recruiter goes to search that I'm looking at a marketing manager, if you have a star profile, the chances of you appearing on her feed increases by 12 times. If you go on your profile, there are means and ways and means where they can tell you that how you can change from your intermediate to a star. So you need to have some connections. You need to have your profile picture updated. You need to have your skills updated. Go through that and try to move towards all-star. It helps. Next slide, please. Let's talk about don't. Just strictly do not do that on LinkedIn. The first thing is, while commenting, do not be negative or aggressive. It is a common platform. Everyone can read your comments. Share your opinion. Indulge in productive and progressive discussion. Even though if you do not like someone commenting, don't be negative. Okay. Be critical about the comment, but do not be negative. Don't be aggressive. Try to be progressive. Try to make sure your comments are helpful for others to learn from you. Very important. It's a very basic thing, but very important. The second point, LinkedIn profile picture is not same as Facebook profile picture. I've seen people who approach me for help have their profile pictures with a person standing behind in the background. They probably are standing on the beach. Stop doing that. That's completely unprofessional. It's just that minor details makes a lot of difference when a recruiter or a person is looking at your profile. It's not a make or break that you will not get a job or a call. It's just that this minor details can actually brand you as someone who is very detail oriented. Yeah. Most important thing, don't be desperate. Desperation strips away your dignity, which is important while applying for jobs. You are a professional. Don't be desperate to find jobs, to beg for jobs. Jobs will come to you if you have skills and qualification. Yeah. Do not show desperation on LinkedIn. Next slide, please. LinkedIn is a profile where you can build your professional brand. Trust me, it is magical. Once you've built that brand, your identity, people can really identify with you. You are recognizable. Try to, as I mentioned about the story about you helping others, try to be a person who will give more than receive. Yeah, as I mentioned in my previous slides, emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, I cannot emphasize enough, is so important in an organization. Gone are the days when people who are machine oriented, who are only intellectually smart, progresses in life. No, I have seen bosses in my life who are very intelligent, but who are human, who has that human touch with their team, who has the emotional quotient to a new high, progressing really, really fast. Yeah. So focus on giving, build your professional brand, and utilize LinkedIn. Spend a lot of time. Change your profile to all-star. Trust me, LinkedIn eventually will be a very helpful tool for you to develop professionally. Next slide, please. Resume. Let's talk about the impact. Can you change the next slide? So I had an opportunity to interview numerous candidates for my team. And what I noticed is when I read their resume, they talk a lot about responsibilities, roles, what they have to do in an organization. Now, look at it this way. I'm a product manager, and if I'm recruiting someone in my team, I obviously know what a product manager does. I don't want to read the roles and responsibilities. Okay, I would want to know what are your roles and responsibilities, but that's not my focus point. My focal point is, while doing that roles and responsibilities, how did you impact your business? How did you impact your organization? What value addition you added while performing that particular role? That's very important for me while I'm taking your interview. Okay, I'll give you an example. Look at my second point. If I write in my CV, I was responsible for planning an introduction of Volkswagen Atlas in the Middle East. That is an example of what are my roles and responsibilities. Versus if I write product lead in driving the introduction of a 7-seater SUV in Middle East at a very competitive price point, leading to a substantial increase in sales and profitability for Volkswagen and dealers. It is the same point. The idea here is glue the person who's reading it, and the person who's actually reading is a product manager. He will be interested how impactful were you while conducting your roles and responsibilities. That's a clear example in front of your eyes. Spend time on your resume. It's a hard thing to look at your same roles and responsibilities again and again, but make it in such a manner that it is much more impactful rather than just a statement. The next point, introduce references in your resume. Now, I know a lot of people say that, how can I mention my boss's name, mobile number, email address, if everyone reads it? I think that what you can do, I did it very effectively, that I mentioned just the name and the person's designation and the organization, no contact information. Why I say this is because recruiters really like to see references of senior people who are backing you. See, that's a clear example that this person is a professional person. He's proved himself in an organization, and the senior management is ready to back this person. If that thing moves forward, you can then provide contact information. I've seen a lot of CVs who do not have these references. Utilize this opportunity. Mention your managing director if he's ready to back you up. Mention the vice president. Yeah? The name and the position will have a twinkle in the eye of the recruiter or the person who's reviewing your CV. It will really help. Next slide, please. Video resume. Again, in my 10 years, I have not found anyone sharing their video resume to me. That clearly says that even if someone wants to apply for a job at Volkswagen where there are multiple aspirants, no one has used this trick. I think it's a brilliant way to portray what you are. When you do a video resume, you have an opportunity to tell your story. And that story would not come across if you're not selected for an interview. Seize this opportunity. Tell a story. And most importantly, you need to have one. As Smita ma'am said, when I was graduating, I had a story in my mind. I know it's very difficult to decide what you want to do in your career when you're graduating from an MBA school, but try to have one story. I had a story that I want to enter a Volkswagen company in India, then move to Middle East as in a regional office, and then move to a headquarter or a bigger market like a North American market or Germany. When I tell this story in a video resume, the person who's reviewing this knows that this guy has a plan of action, what he wants to do. Not everyone has a plan of action. This again will help you to stand out. I'll tell you an interesting thing. In an interview, we've seen this question, where would you see yourself 5 years down the line? And we really underplay this. We say, okay, I want to be here, I want to be there. And we never understand why this is asked. Trust me, why this is asked is because if I am interviewing you, I want to know what are your plans. I don't want to know where you'll reach in 5 years, head of something. I want to know the transition of where you are and where you're going to reach. What are your plans? There is no right and wrong, but at least I know you are an analytical person. You're detail-oriented to carve and plan your journey. And this, again, planning your journey, being detail-oriented is an important quality when you actually work for an organization. As I said, this, again, is a non-verbal communication to everyone that you are different from others and you have sorted in your mind, even though you may not follow that line, but you're inclined to do that. So have that question ready. Even if he doesn't ask, tell him that my plan to reach after 5 years is this, and these are the steps I'm going to take to reach here. Okay. Next slide, please. SWOT analysis. I do this very often, but when I do it is when I'm being shortlisted for an interview, because it gives me a lot of insight about this organization. What I would push is that do this when you're applying for a job. Okay, you cannot do this for all the jobs, but look at it this way, that you're graduating and you have a dream job. you have a dream job. So what are your opportunities? You can send your cover letter, you can send your resume. And if you see nowadays, when you apply for a job, there is an opportunity to upload more documents. Now, why do you think the companies give you an opportunity to apply more documents? They want to see that are you thinking out of the box and getting your documents more than just a cover letter or a resume. I would recommend personally, if you think that this is your dream company, you really want to get inside, invest time in creating a SWOT analysis of that organization. Okay, there are two benefits here. One, you will get an in-depth information about this organization. And second, once you apply this organization with this particular document, trust me, if there are 100 people, 2 or 3 would be even thinking of doing it. You already are among the top 3% who's applying for the job. You are stand out. You have, and again, I said that thinking of standing out is one thing, but doing something which will lead to stand out is another thing. And this is one of the examples how it will help you to stand out when you actually apply for a job interview. Next slide, please. Okay, this is my final slide, and this is my favorite slide. This has helped me grow immensely, personally and professionally. Now, when I joined Volkswagen, my first boss, who kind of, I think him as my mentor, told me something about a dream list or a wish list. Now, what is that? Now, the dream list is a list of things which you start preparing. Okay. What I did was, he said, sit down, take a pen and a paper, and write 50 things which you want to achieve in your life, personally and professionally. And when I started writing, he said, stop. Pen down things which you think right now are impossible to happen. Sheer impossible. This will never happen. You think that how can this even happen? You laugh it out. Pen down those things. Trust me, penning 50 things is very difficult. I reached 40 when I was doing it, and I wrote all impossible things. They're absolutely impossible. And he said, every week, once a week or twice a week, go through your list and try to visualize what you've written. Okay. I still have that list on my phone. In fact, my son, who's a 6-year-old, he's created his own wish list. He goes through this every week. And I'll tell you the outcome, what happened. So one of the items I'd like to share is when I joined Volkswagen right after my MBA, one of my colleague wrote, he went to actually Switzerland for a 2-week trip, and he shared his pictures, and it was amazing. I like traveling. And at that time, obviously I didn't have enough money. I had never traveled internationally. So I randomly wrote that I want to spend 1 month in Switzerland. Trust me, at that moment, it was absolutely impossible. I mean, imagine right now that I just passed out my MBA, my first job. I'm writing, I want to spend 1 month in Switzerland, explore Switzerland in and out. And I happen to read that once a week. I visualize it, how Switzerland would look like, what would I be wearing, where would I go, what are the places in Switzerland. And you won't believe, 2 years down the line, my brother-in-law got posted in Switzerland. He works with an IT company. And it happened that we went to Switzerland and we did spend 30 days in that country. I don't know. I don't know what exactly was this, but this was probably my sheer grit, my determination to fulfill my dreams and aspirations. And again, this is like the book, The Secret, which was published a few years down the line. It actually works. I still have colleagues, friends who drop a message to me that, hey, Jigar, do you know what? My 11th item on my list just got fulfilled. And it's very unique. The most difficult and the impossible thing started to happen quickly and gradually. The Switzerland example is just one such thing. I never imagined. I went there. I was there for a month. I stayed with him. When I came back, I was completely surprised that, wow, that was a tick in the box. So I urge everyone, sit down today, make your dream list, focus religiously every week, go through it, visualize what you want to do. Trust me, you will drop me a message a few months or few years down the line that, hey, Jigar, this item is a tick in the box. And this is a very fulfilling experience. So I end my presentation with this thought, and I wish you all the best, everyone. Remember that this is just a tough time. It will pass away. Take your chances. Be patient, but be persistent. things will work out for everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. It is very helpful to us, and the things you said about LinkedIn and networking. Genuine networking always pays off. This shows us that, and LinkedIn networking or any networking should be for a longer period term goal and not for a shorter period. And there are a few questions from the students. I would just tell that to you once. Shrishti Kanade says, sometimes one has to do a job that is not exactly what she wishes to do, but that is a part of the path that would lead to desired job, example, sales and marketing. How does one cope up there?
So again, if you need to do a job, try to focus or try to evaluate whether that is exactly what you want to do moving forward. Okay. If you do not want to do moving forward, try to research on industries or roles which you want to do. Try to arrange informative interviews with that person who is in that position and understand whether that exactly is something which you want to do. If the answer is yes, start building yourself towards that particular job role. Because if you do that informative interview, you might just get some information that to be a part of this role, you need to do X, Y, Z short-term courses so that you are ready for this particular role. So what I would advise is, if you're even continuing your full-time job and if you don't like it completely, venture out first to understand where you want to go and how you can go there, and try to accumulate those skills which can help you get an opportunity in that particular role.
Okay. There's a question from Swati Chanda, GSCC Malad. So many times students are not clear in choosing electives at graduation level. What can be done, and as a placement member, how to get good internships for student?
Okay, after first year, I'm sure this dilemma comes in that would you want to do finance or marketing? Reach out to your alumni. So I'm a marketing professional. I had a colleague who passed out with me as a finance professional. Speak to them for an hour, jot down your points. This is also kind of an informative interview, that after 2 hours, you will be crystal clear whether the roles and responsibility as a finance or a marketing professional, which I do on a daily life, on an everyday basis, does that interest you? Is that something which you want to do? And at the end, after speaking to people who are in the industry, talking about nuances on the day-to-day activity, you will have a fair idea that this is something which I cannot do it, or don't want to do it, or this is something that really interests me. I want to learn more about it. This will, I don't say that you will get an idea that you want to do this, but this will pave a path for you to think that this is exactly, or this is something which I would want to consider moving forward.
Okay. And there is a question related to video resume by Jyoti and Anshul. How long the video resume should be, and how to share the video resume with the interviewer for them?
Okay, I would advise a video resume to be brief, be articulate, because the attention span of a person who's listening to a video resume is not very long. I cannot pinpoint that it should be 1 minute or 2 minutes. It depends on your story. Okay, if your story is really engaging, try to articulate in this manner that you can complete your story, but keep it brief, keep it focused to that particular person, to that particular company, to that particular role. And in terms of how do you send that video resume, what you can do is, when you're applying for the role, you can reach out to the job poster or the hiring manager and tell him that I have a particular format video resume, which I just want to send it to you. And I'm sure no one will say that, no, you cannot send it to me, because it's a different file altogether. So he or she will be more than happy to attach that particular element to your application.
Okay. We have a last question, sir, by Dipti Bhanshali. So what is your advice for the freshers in this pandemic? Upskilling and networking is on, but what next?
It's a very interesting question. I had a thought about this. In a pandemic situation, companies are downsizing. Companies are letting people go. But look at it this way. Companies are looking at resources which are not very expensive for them. This gives rise to internship and volunteering experiences. Okay, so if a company lets go a few people in an organization, and if you approach the company saying, I'm willing to do an internship for 6 months, and as a company, I'll be more than happy because right now I have 5 employees, I've let 2 go. So the job responsibility is on 3 individuals. And if I have more resources on an internship person, my role or my job load is divided. So it's a win for him and it's a win for you. So this is the time, focus on your dream companies. Go there, talk to them. And this is for the placement cell as well. Talk to these companies, say, we have pool of resources, talented people who just want to do internship right now in your organization. It is a right foot in the door. Yeah, seize this opportunity. This opportunity will not come very often. It's a dark time, but there is a silver lining which I would like to highlight.
Okay. So that was the last question with us, and I would like to ask Kavita ma'am to tell something about the webinar and to the students as well.
Thank you so much, Kunal. So I was listening, Jigar. Jigar, it is very nice to get your practical insights because I'm sure that you can empathize the kind of challenges which we are facing, as a placement cell of the institute, though it is a decade when you passed out. And luckily, we have stabilized our placement cell as compared to your time, but still it has a long way to go. And especially in this COVID-19 times where again, the situation has been changed. I can just take a liberty to ask you one question.
Sure.
If it is, I know he asked me to propose the vote of thanks, but I just thought I should take your practical advice also. See, basically this COVID-19 has though created opportunities, online, digital technology, stream, but however, there are various other stream. There are various other industries which are laying off their employees or which are not giving the opportunities. So how should we tackle that particular kind of a challenges? So can you just tell us that how should we create an opportunity for those students who wanted to make their career either in, in a very hardcore manufacturing industries or something into automobile or automotive industries?
Sure. I think this again gives an opportunity because not everyone, even the industry leaders, have not seen such a situation. Okay, if you truly want to get yourself into an auto industry or a manufacturing front or any industry for that matter, you need to go an extra mile, understand what that industry is going through. Okay, this way, when you probably have an opportunity to prepare a research paper because this phenomena will probably not happen again. So get yourself inside a lot of research activity and prepare a research paper and talk to these industry leaders saying that first, I want an informative interview. When you get an informative interview, present your research findings. When you present the research findings, that person would not, he might be amazed. He might be shocked, oh yeah, I didn't think about it. Or he might just feel that, great, thank you so much for deep diving in our industry. And he will identify you as someone who's understanding the nuances of the industry. Again, branding yourself and staying different from others is always about going an extra mile and doing the unexpected. If someone come to me for an informative interview and says, Jigar, you know what, I have done a research on Canadian automotive market, and these are the points which really fascinate me. What do you think? That helps in healthy discussion and a long-term professional network.
Great. So I think there are many takeaways from today Jigar session. The most important thing which we always talk about, networking, LinkedIn, resume, and bonus. My takeaway is the power of visualization. So today onwards, I will write at least one points that 100% final placement for my students. This is what I can write. And I hope that we all will shine in this today's scenario. Here, our session has got over. However, our association with Jigar is not. Though Jigar is not physically present in India, virtually we all are connected. I was trying to reach you since many years, but thankfully to this digital technology, it was possible for me to connect you at Canada. So once again, this is truly an international webinar with lots of takeaways in regards to hyper competition. We will definitely take it in a very positive way. And I request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form and let us know what is your takeaway from our today's session.
Yes, I think Aruna madam has been there throughout the session, and
Okay.
she was also she
Yes,
wanted,
yes, of course, of course, of
and
course.
we can invite her. In addition to that, I wanted to say this to Jigar. Okay, I
Definitely.
absolutely enjoyed your session. I think what difference you created is whatever you said was straight from heart. It's possibly easy to read from a book and say you do X and you do Y, but when you talk of your experiences and link everything which you are saying to your experience, the entire story actually becomes very, very meaningful. So I loved whatever you stated, and I believe it should be a great learning experience for all the students. And for me also personally, there are certain takeaways, like Kavita said. Thank you so much, Jigar.
Thank you so much for your kind words, ma'am. Really means a lot to me as well. Thank you.
I request Deshpande ma'am also to give us her impression from today's session. We always have a very nice impression about Jigar, but about today's session, I request madam to kindly give her inputs.
Quickly check the list. She was there throughout the session. Is she still there, or there is a network issue again?
I think, ma'am, I can't see her. So I think
Okay.
there is a
Yeah.
network issue. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay, so with this, Jigar, we have closed to end of our today's session. Thank you once again for connecting us, giving such a wonderful insights. And with this, I think now, Kunal, we can close the meeting of today. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Jigar, any final
Can,
word which you would like to give us?
can I say something?
Yeah, Chandanani sir, please.
Of course, many things have been told about Jigar, by you, by Smita ma'am. It was a sheer pleasure listening to Jigar, throughout. And what I felt was, like I have listened to many, many VPs, many CEOs, and many MDs. Uh, and Jigar has got hardly about 11 years experience, 2009 to 2020. But the way he speaks from heart. The way he speaks, I feel as if, some CEO or MD is talking. And, everything is so current, like COVID stories or, Dubai and international stories. And really very motivating. I think we will have to always think from the long-term point of view. And, as he rightly said, that we should never be thinking of a short term and, a quick benefit and things like that. Provided, like we have to empathize with others, we have to put ourselves into shoes of others, try to help, and also, try to be absolutely genuine, genuine help and absolutely genuine person. Yeah, and I think lot of takeaways, as Kavita ma'am says, for us. And thank you very much, Jigar. It was a sheer pleasure listening to you and interacting. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
So I request all the participants to kindly fill up your feedback form to collect your certificates from us. And with this, we formally end the session. I request all the participants also now you keep your video on so that we may have a group photographs, which Jigar said very prominently, you can put on your LinkedIn and show to your connect that you have attended an international webinar with an international personality too. Okay, so I request all the participants to keep your video on. We are going to have a photograph now. Rahul, can you do an honor for us? Okay, I think it's done. Thank you, Jigar. I'll connect you with you again. Thank you, Smita ma'am, for allowing us to organize this today's session and being a chairperson for today's session. And thank you, Chandanani sir, also for joining us and giving your inputs. I thank all the participants for being a part of this today's session. And we are very soon coming up with another international webinar on 14 July. Again, we are very proud to say that our alumni who are working abroad are going to talk to all of you. So please stay in tune with us and come again on 14 July for another international webinar. Thank you once again.
Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Jigar.
Thank you, ma'am.
So with this, we officially call off our today's session. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Do come for the 14th international on 14 July, the international webinar again. And that's for now. See you soon. Bye.